In Sudan, a week-long ceasefire is set to come into effect this Monday evening after the country's military and paramilitary rapid support forces signed a deal over the weekend. Over the past 5 weeks, hundreds of thousands of residents are said to have left their homes, with many attempting to flee abroad. Well, to talk a bit more about this with me now, we've got France 24's Angela Diffley on the set. Angela, there have been ceasefires in the past that have not lasted. Is this one going to last? Are people more optimistic?
There is a little more optimism this time. It's true that the record hasn't been great. The other ceasefires have collapsed within a very short time. What is different, possibly, about this one is the fact that it has been signed by representatives of the warring parties. The United States and Saudi Arabia have been talking to representatives of the warring factions for Jeddah in over 2 weeks now. So they've been getting together, trying to sort this out. And also it is to be monitored by what we're told is an international monitoring mechanism. It's a bit vague. We don't know what that is, but that is new as well. So just to recap, we have these two warring generals. I think we have the names up here. So al-burhan, who until now has been the de facto leader of Sudan, and General Hemeti, who was the leader of the Rapid Support Forces, which was a unit which was about to be integrated into the army. They couldn't decide on who would have power. It is just a straightforward power struggle, and that's what has erupted. So we are nowhere near any long-term peace agreement, but this 7-day temporary ceasefire should allow for food aid. Stocks of food and basic essentials and medicine are very, very low. It's worth remembering that Sudan was very dependent on international aid even before this war broke out. It's a very, very poor country. And so it's hoped that at least essential services can be restored and access to food and medicine and key essentials can be restored as well.
So, Angela, the ceasefire is due to start tonight, but there was still fighting over the weekend.
There was. Already in this war, we've seen 1,000 people killed, 1 million people displaced within Sudan. And it is an indication that the people of Sudan don't look that hopeful, because very many of them fled key cities in Sudan over the weekend. There has been a fight not far from Khartoum and the other two key cities which make up Greater Khartoum, Omdurman and Bari. There is an airfield close to that area. And from that airfield, the Sudanese armed forces, so what was the regular Sudanese army, have air superiority. And from there, they're able to shell densely populated towns often. And so the RSF, run by the other general, Hemeti, are advancing to try to capture that key airfield to neutralize that air superiority that the other side have. So that's what this weekend has been about. There's been a lot of fighting. What is particular about this war is the fighting in densely populated areas and the shelling of civilian areas. Neither side seems too bothered about the very heavy civilian casualties.
And there are worries that this could escalate again.
Yeah, there are still worries, voiced recently by UN Secretary-General Antonio Guterres. It is about the positioning of Sudan. Sudan itself is a multi-ethnic nation, and there is a worry that it could give rise to new ethnic tensions. But surrounding Sudan, we have very many countries who have had their own conflicts. Sudan sits on the Nile. The Nile is so important to Egypt. We see Sudan as well. It has access to this area, and 10% of the world's shipping passes through those straits. 10% of the world's shipping. So it's very important. Sudan really is at a crossroads between Arabic Africa and sub-Saharan Africa, the Gulf and Africa, and near the Red Sea, near that key shipping strait on the Nile. There are so many reasons why so many countries might decide to pitch in here. And at the moment, as both sides are evenly matched, al-Burhan's side and Hemeti's, if an outside nation pitches in, it could tip the balance.
All right, thanks for that. France 24's Angela Diffley.